Good morning. You're welcome to another episode of Tea or Coffee. My name is Modupe Jacobs, and I have...
Rankashir is my name. You're welcome to another episode. It's a sunny day today. Good enough.
Sunny. When I was coming, it was raining.
Seriously?
Early this morning.
This morning?
Yes, it was raining.
Really?
And I was like, God, please, I don't want to get drenched in this rain. I was in a pep, and then buses that were passing by were just splashing water, on my leg, and I was like, Jesus.
Why?
I even had to cover my hair. I practically looked, like I was coming from church or something. But I'm happy I was able to make it. Though.
All right. Oh, thank God for that.
You look amazing.
And you too.
Thank you.
So, okay, like she said, some part of the town is raining,
yes.
but this part of the town is actually not raining here, and it's like a bright new day. So welcome. Today it's our entrepreneurial day.
Yes.
Here at Tea or Coffee. So we invite entrepreneurs to tell us the success story, what they went through, and all the things that needed to be done, especially if you want to start your own business. And today is no exception. Yeah. We have a guest in the house, but before then...
we shouldn't let the cat out of the bag yet.
No, we shouldn't.
As always.
We like people to we like you to anticipate or imagine and think about the guests that we have in the house. But before then, I want you to go get your tea or coffee and maybe one or two snacks, slices of bread, and get set for us, because today we are going to learn so much from us.
And it's a very interesting topic. I'm particularly interested in the topic.
Okay.
I really want to learn, hopefully, from the guests.
All right. So what's the topic? Let's help them.
You're not saying anything. Lip sealed for now.
You're not going to say?
Lip sealed for now.
Lip sealed.
Till we are back.
Modupe is so naughty. All right, we need to go on break. And when we come back, we'll introduce our guest and the topic of the day. Welcome back. Like we were saying before we went on break, okay, and Modupe was trying to be funny by not telling us what we will talk about today. Okay, the topic today is building relationships in business. And with us today is Mr. Ayola Jolayemi, Managing Partner, CEO, Swift Think Limited. Welcome for coming.
Thank you very much, Ronnie.
Thank you for coming on today's episode.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'm so excited. What did I say? Welcome for coming.
Thank you.
I wanted to say welcome and I want to say thank you at the same time.
I understand that,
it's so funny. Okay, now talking about building relationships. How did it come about? Okay, let's talk about your business, Swift Think Limited. What's it about?
Thank you very much. So Swift Think Limited is an idea development and management company. And basically what that is we help ideas bud into fledgling businesses, products or services. Mm-hmm. Now, more often than not, many businesses that start don't understand that there has to be a foundation built. So you understand 3 things are the things you look out for. Am I solving a problem?
Yes.
Am I answering a question? Am I meeting a need? So that's where we start from for most businesses we've worked with. We start from that project side, and then we then take it all the way to when they are able to break and start running their business.
Really?
So that's what we've been doing for the past 9 years. By January 2019 will be 10 years.
Wow, we're going to have a big party.
Hopefully we would have a party.
Not hopefully, we should.
We will have, because it's a milestone.
It's a milestone.
year for us. We believe very much that being able to stand through the past 10 years,
10 years.
is quite remarkable for us. And seeing the brands and the businesses we work with in those years become very successful enterprises for us gives us great joy. And that's why we are doing what we are doing, and we keep doing what we're doing. So that's what Swift Think Limited is. So we have major legs of our business, what we call SBUs, like small business units in our office. And we have the ones that are responsible for media. We have the ones responsible for events. We have the ones responsible for brand building. And then we have the ones responsible for project management. So, and all that is because we want to ensure that we have specialized, what we call subject matter experts involved with projects or brand we're working with. Don't put a round peg in a square hole.
All right. Okay. Go on.
Okay, yes. 10 years now. That means you've acquired quite a number of, should I say, experience. So when you started the business, what was it profits? Was it that you wanted to go for profit making, or you wanted to, what was the driving force? What made you start?
Thank you, Modupe. Any business that sets out with profit making as the front burner is out to shut down in a bit.
Okay.
Because trust me, I don't think there is any business that would immediately start making profits, because if that's the focus, you cannot stay in business for long. You'll probably just be hopping, business hopping. You start this one, you shut it down. You start the other one, you shut down, because you're looking for profit. And so one of the things that kept us, that made us go into this in the first place was we identified the problem. And the problem was small and medium scale enterprises were not being catered for in the space of branding and project management.
Okay.
The big agencies or the big ideation companies were more focused on building the big brands. And the mistake we make by so doing is the fact that as of today, 73% of Nigeria's businesses are contributing to the Nigeria's GDP are SMEs. While you have about maybe 3 million, 4 million big businesses, as it were, you have maybe about 23 million SMEs registered with the federal government. So it's be very much foolhardy to ignore the large proportion of those who are catering for the Nigerian economy, when you can as well focus on them and help them to understand the basics and the fundamentals of business running. So that was why we went into this, ensuring that we can provide services to the perceived ignored segment of the business community, which is the SMEs.
Okay, and talking about that, you started 9 years ago.
Yes.
You started as a young company.
Yes.
Wanting to impart into another
Young company.
How
Now-
were they able? You just walked into a company and said,
Yes.
"Oh, I want to help you."
Okay.
And they ask, "What's your pedigree?"
What's your pedigree? Great. So that there is something that I mean, over the years we've been able to understand as to one of the reasons why we have succeeded, and that is because more often than not, every business person requires what is called guts.
Yes.
Now, as a person representing the brand or representing the business, I ensure that every person that goes out to speak on behalf of our business have confidence to fully understand and present our value proposition. Now, there are businesses that are 2 years old, 3 years old, that are doing multi-billion-dollar businesses. Why? Because the person who started the business had a sound understanding of what his business value proposition was when stepping out to talk to any client.
Okay.
Or talking to the perceived or prospective customers. And when you don't have that sort of confidence or understanding of the business or what you're offering, definitely nobody will listen to you. As a 3-month-old business, we had worked with state governments. And that basically was because we had to go out. And one of the things that struck me very dearly was the fact that the value of relationships came to bear at every stage of our business growth.
Yes.
If I was out to sell, there were some things that would not happen. But we had to build relationships, which ended up bringing forth sales or turning around numbers. So that was one of the things that helped us in our formative stages.
So how did you build those
Great.
relationships?
So, first thing first, I had working experience before going into business.
All right.
I had worked for about 7.5 years
Wow.
in different fields.
Okay, different fields. Not with the government.
No, with the government. No, but I had worked in the media for 7.5 years before I started the business.
Private organizations.
Yes. Right. During that period, there were things that we had, the people I had interacted with, either by virtue of my work as the head of business development,
Okay.
or people that I interacted with by virtue of
All right.
exhibition, by virtue of...
Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
What did you study in the university, and what's your academic qualification?
Okay, that's always for me a very interesting topic, because I had my first degree in biochemistry.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
And then I had my second degree in international politics and diplomacy.
Wow.
All right. I had that international
And then,
diplomacy.
and then I moved into IT, in information technology, and then into marketing communications.
What's happening here?
So, one of the things that I think that has helped over the years, the fact that I know that I can speak, I can sell, I can analyze. And there was always the thing of parents wanting you to do a particular thing. So they wanted medicine, and then medicine failed, and then you had to go for biochemistry. When you're done, you probably would just have to go and do medicine after as a second degree. But at that point, I became very independent. I'd moved out of the house. I had even my master's. I had to do that all by myself. So it was pretty much like I became very independent quite early. And I had to take my life in my hands. What exactly would I do that would help me gain mastery of what I want to do, right? So that was what it was. So at the course of moving out from biochemistry, what was done was my mind was opened. That was all I saw that biochemistry did for me. It helped my mind to be very broad, to see that there are pathways to achieving things. It's not one foolproof way of achieving anything.
That's why I always say that no knowledge is lost.
No knowledge is lost. So when I moved I went to Brussels, and then I had to do that international politics and diplomacy. And then for me, that was like the icebreaker. Because while I was in class, I met a group of people that said, "Oh, you're so vast with the African relations." And then they pulled me into a business at that time called the African Promotion Center in Avenue de Louis in Brussels. And I was in charge of trade with Eastern and Central Africa, working with them. Not even West Africa, that was my own domain. And from there, things started moving really fast, and then I had to come back to Nigeria. And it was, for me, I went for schooling, not for business. But that few months I was with them in that business, shaping a lot of things as to how I did, and I'm still doing business today.
All right.
We're local, but we think global.
Looking at your company profile, you go for ideas,
Yes.
and you try to bring them to life.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you know an idea that is actually going to? Are there some ideas that Are there some ideas that you're like, this can't work, or this can work?
At the early stage of our business, we go through what we call the creative cycle.
Okay.
So there is a process of cracking the brief, which is understanding exactly what the idea is, and then you look at the strategic fit of the business in the economy or in its locality where it's supposed to be playing. Now, when we get to that point, it's either a pipeline or do. So if it's a pipeline, you tell the client, sorry, this business at this stage shouldn't go to market because it's not yet ripe. You need to do a little bit more digging to understand whether this business can fly now or not. If it's to be done, then it becomes scalability.
Okay.
Is it something you should go full scale at once, or you take it in bits and pieces?
Okay.
So understanding that process is what we call the creative cycle, and that's one of the major things we offer under our brand department, which is creative consulting. Okay. Looking at how this business will go to market. So for us, it's not just, mini, money, mo. No. It's a scientific, and it's global best practices, right? So it's a scientific, very careful, painstaking process to look at an idea from, whether or not it should even go into the process of thinking, or go into the process of actually building.
Have you ever told anyone that, oh, your business, it's not good enough?
Oh yeah, we've had to do that painfully so. And well, some go ahead, and the rest they say is history.
Okay, I interrupted you when you were talking about how you started.
Yes.
Okay, can you pick up?
So pretty much we started off in our sitting area in Ikeja, and was more identifying where do we start from. So what are the new things? And fortunately, or should I say coincidentally, most of the things we've had our hands on are actually first-time projects. We actually pioneer most of them. So we work with people who are starting up either a new venture or bringing in a new product into the country or doing a new event. So it's been so somehow because they come to us at the ideation stage.
All right.
So we then go look into this products or projects or services, and then we discuss and look at how best can this play out, how best can this work in the market.
Okay, did you go to them?
Oh yeah, we had to go to them
You
because
had
they
to
didn't
go.
know who we were.
Yes.
So that's where our R&D department was working. So
Okay.
for instance, most of them listen to the news 24 hours a day.
Yes.
So some of them are always on the net surfing. We call ourselves web crawlers because they're always checking what's happening, what's new, what's going on, what's trending, and then who's bringing up a new product, what's a new project, and then sometimes we identify opportunities and talk to the people who we feel are best fit for them as well.
Okay.
And then so that is how we've been able to stay in business till date. Now the media side of our business also evolved that same way. Being able to identify opportunities in different areas of digital, outdoor, online, offline convergence, and we've been able to build a very viable business from that side as well. So pretty much it has been you go in, like I would put it, 2 steps ahead to see what exactly is happening in developed countries, or what exactly is the need that can be met in our country by virtue of people putting together services or products that would change the landscape, and then we then go forth to find who the best person would be to make that happen.
All right, like knowing that being an entrepreneur is not just sitting down.
Oh no, come on, sitting down.
So it's not just a matter of starting a business.
No,
it's
it is not.
much more than that. Okay, we've been talking with Mr. Ayola, and we'll go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll continue with the talk.
Walking into comfort in a safe environment is every family's dream. At High Impact Planet Resort, our fully furnished service apartment is a home away from home. Amazing views right in your luxurious world. Work out to keep fit for an amazing body at the gym. Get affordable groceries and personal care items at the supermarket. Feel relaxed and beautify yourself at the fully equipped spa. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Welcome back, and of course it's still tea or coffee on High Impact TV. The topic for today is building relationship in business, and of course we still have Mr. Ayola Jolayemi in the studio here with us.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so I want to ask, most people when going into business, I for one, if I'm going into business, it's profits.
Okay.
Because I can't imagine myself, for let's say a year, for a year or two, I'm thinking of building relationships with people and not, getting profits that fast. Okay, so why is it important to build relationship?
It doesn't say you don't make profit. It
Okay,
just
so
says
how
that's not
can
the
you
motive.
balance both?
Now, many people do what we call one-off businesses. And that's because the main aim of doing that is pretty much profit.
Okay.
Okay.
That's where I'm going to come from.
Okay.
So if I'm going for profit, there are some concessions that naturally you would never give. There are some bending over backwards that would never be done because your focus is maximum profit possible, barring whatever else might happen. So if it means me squeezing the living day out of you to get the money out, to get the business out, not caring whether or not you find me worthy for a second repeat or a repeat business, then that means I'm putting profit before a relationship. Secondly, some people just go for the money without solving the problem.
Okay.
So there is a problem on ground. I've come to prefer a solution to you, not because I believe it will solve that problem, but it would sell my product. You would agree with me that there are some things you have bought because you went to say, oh, there's this thing that's going on, I need your help today. And the person says, oh yeah,
You can
this
use
product,
this.
exactly. This product
And then it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, it's not a person's business. As far as it's concerned, he's made profit, he's made a sales,
And then you wouldn't come back.
and you won't come back,
At all.
right?
Definitely.
But there's what happens sometimes. You go into a place to have a conversation. You discuss about the problem. You prefer a solution, and your product is not bought. Your service is not actually requested or required by virtue of the solution you provided. And but what thing you've done is you've left a mark in the mind of the person that it is not profit over value. It is value over profit. So if anything comes tomorrow, top of mind awareness has been created. You will always have the right of first refusal at that point, because here is someone who's placed value. We had a conversation, and I tell you, you don't need to buy anything. What you have, put this around, it will work. And what you've offered at that point is what? Is value. So that's what I meant by not putting profit forward.
First.
I'm meaning relationship is not just, hey, hi, how are you? It is actually value offering at the end, which is why you heard me say at the beginning of our conversation that what we put forward is our value proposition. What are we bringing to the table? So we ensure that at every point in time, you see us as a veritable partner than just a service provider.
Okay, you've been talking about we.
Yes, that's the business. It's not an I.
It's not, okay, I think that means when you started, did you start alone?
No.
With a group of people,
3 of us.
3 of you,
Yes.
and you were paying salary to
No.
us? Oh,
Wow.
tell me about
So
it.
that's what
Okay.
there is a story behind how
All
every
right.
business starts. So what we had at that point was not a business that could pay salaries. What we could pay was vision. Here's where the business is going. Basic needs are met, so you're able to give stipends to cover for transportation. You're able to give stipends to cover for maybe some lunch or stuff like that. It took us about 24 months to begin paying salaries. You understand my point?
Yes.
It took 24 months, 2 years for us to begin paying salaries because there was need for us to build a business. We were not running a business, we were building a business. They're 2 different things.
24 months to pay
Yes,
salary.
so what we're doing was stipends, and that's why it's in the books as stipends, not as salaries, because
Salary.
Good
did
enough
not,
to take care of a family?
I did not have family men. I had single men, even though I was married at that time. I had 2 single guys working with us then. They were with us up until the 7th year of the business before they had to move to other things. So it tells you that if it wasn't worth the while, they would not stay for 7 years.
Wow.
So that for us was one. So there was a clear explanation, a clear delivery of the vision of the business to them.
Okay.
And that is where most businesses miss it. You're bringing a person, the onboarding process is very weak. The person doesn't even get what the business is about. It just comes to work because I should come to work. So that was one of the things that and entrepreneurship, as people see it today, is what we see on Instagram. Oh, someone is putting up fancy pictures, someone is putting up beautiful, locations and all that. If you sit down with these people, I've had conversations, because I'm very much in the ecosystem, so I have conversations. A person who is making 5 million naira turnover in a whole year, but still flies everywhere, junkets everywhere, because the book is on the negative. Why? Because he probably has investors' money he's playing around with. And you are under pressure because you're seeing that person who is doing so fine. But the reality is that when you go to the back end, there is no substance. So, which is why it's key for you to build relationships, build networks that ensure that at the end of the day, when you get to the point, I'll give an instance.
Okay.
2012, I met a lady who were in school together way back then. And she was just an entry level or second level then in one of the FMCGs. Fast forward to 2018. She is now the national sales manager for that same organization where she works, a massive multinational. If at the time I went to have the meeting in 2012, now we're doing work together. When I went to meet her in 2012 and she had nothing to offer me, in quote, and I just discountenanced that relationship, I did not keep building that relationship. 6 years down the line, I would have gone there for a job and it would have been a hello,
weird.
how are you kind of conversation. But because there was a sustenance of that relationship,
Yes.
it wasn't difficult for her to say, this guy is the real deal.
All right.
That's one. Secondly, there are people that at the first instance, you did not meet their expectation because probably you were not yet solid enough.
Okay.
You didn't have enough expertise at the time, but you offered your service at the level at which you were experienced too,
Okay.
and you were honest about it. Trust me, 5 years, 6 years down the line, you've gained mastery of your craft. These same people will recommend you without batting an eyelash because they know that you have grown over the years. When you had nothing as past skills to the value of what you were offered, you did it and you still did it to the best of your ability. Now you've gained mastery. It would not be a problem to recommend you, even for their own clients or to their own people, because you've offered value over time. And that is why those that you see doing great things today, go check it. They didn't just meet today. They've built value-based relationship over a period of time. So networking is not exchanging complimentary cards. Guys, let me put that straight to everybody. Networking is not exchanging of complimentary cards.
Is it part of it?
It is the starting point.
Okay.
So you go for a meeting or you go for a breakfast or a brunch or a cocktail and then someone says, oh, here's my card. Trust me, if you do a statistics, if you're honest with yourself,
Yes.
Ronke or Modupe, you agree with me that there are some people that you took their cards at an exhibition.
And you forget about them.
Exactly. But what would you have said you went for? Yeah, I networked. It was a beautiful networking gathering, but you didn't do nothing. So that's just the first thing. And then secondly, a person who wants to sell, an entrepreneur, cannot be shy. You must not have shame. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Because in 10 years, the number of no's I've gotten will probably be 20 times, without exaggeration. This is even me being modest. It's 20 times the number of yeses I've gotten.
Wow.
In 10 years.
So what kept you going?
Because I believed in what we had to offer.
All right.
There were doors that we knocked on in 2015 that did not open until 2018.
18. Wow.
Because we know we have something to offer. We kept evolving. We kept, polishing our craft, improving our trade, because we know that we had something to offer. But the fact that the brand wasn't seeing it at that time did not diminish the value of our offering, which is where many entrepreneurs miss it. Someone says, this is not good enough. And because of that, instead of polishing that particular product or that particular service, we trash it. And what you've trashed is probably your gateway to billions. Because you took that feedback wrongly. As an entrepreneur, if a person you're doing business with or you're running a service to gives a feedback, you must have multiple sieving gates, multiple filters through which you sieve that feedback to say, what is the intent and purpose of this feedback? Is it to build us or to break us?
Okay.
So if you're able to put it through those gates, you can take the feedback properly and achieve something outstanding by applying just one suggestion. I was reading one of my former staff, she's doing a massive work now. She runs a company called the KT1 Company. Her name is Olori Ajayi. And she said that she was going for an event and she was trying to tie a head wrap. And someone says, why is it not possible to just have this head wrap as a fixed stuff? And she took that suggestion. Somebody would have gotten upset,
Yes.
like, why are you making trouble? Why are you disturbing my life? But she took that feedback and she's built a business now that in the first week of production, she has sold over 500 pieces.
Wow.
So that is where and the value of it matters a lot how you place premium on relationships. So it would determine how you even absorb or receive feedback when they do come.
Okay.
So it's very important. That was what has helped us, or that is what has helped us till date, and we're building on that feedback, till now. Yes.
Based on what you've been saying, can I say that your organization is a customer-centric organization?
Oh, it's very customer-centric.
How can one achieve that?
Every business is built on culture. And if you do not understand this reality that the culture you imbibe from the beginning of the business requires evolution, just like you require evolution.
Yes.
Okay.
Those that know me in 2004, 5, 6 know I had a very low cut. I was you know what I mean.
The older you are,
You get my point? And
the fuller your hair. Really?
And at some point, there was a need. And for many people, so when air, I'll just share with you why I have my full hair.
Okay.
Some people feel like it's fashion. No, it's not fashion. So as I grew up, I became really big, very fat. And the way you have ridges on your head when you have to shed weight.
Yes.
So I had to compress and lose some weight. And when I did lose some weight, my head was now having folds, and was having a lot of ridges. And I said to myself, this is not the look I want to present to my clients. This is not the look I want my wife to see every day she wakes up. So what do? The easiest option is to grow my hair.
Yeah.
So sometimes people say, oh, cut this hair. It's too big. Oh, I'm like, guys, if you have an idea of how beautiful I look right now, or what you get the point.
Yes.
So customer-centric businesses is always built on culture.
Okay.
What do you want to be remembered for? A person who rendered service with empathy, or the person who rendered service with no emotions?
Right.
It's very simple. So empathy is not sympathy. It's you being able to understand the plight while staying focused. I'm not joining you to cry.
Okay.
I'm just understanding why you're crying.
Yes.
It's two different things.
Okay.
Sympathy is I'm crying with you.
With you.
Exactly.
Empathy is I understand why you're crying. And my eyes are still sharp. I still see clearly. The focus of me being in business is not to come and cry with you.
Yes.
It's to bring you out of your tears.
Yes.
Right? So, and that means you're focused on taking them out, not sucking them in. You ensure that you're giving value, because a lot of people do business that today, it's all built on pretense. They just keep selling lies and selling lies. But someday, the reality comes to bear.
Yes.
You understand? So it's very key that it's just culture. If you build the culture, people will build trust, and then from there, value exchange becomes almost like in perpetuity.
Okay, for 9 years now, have you ever done free jobs?
Oh yeah, we've done free jobs.
Wow. Was that at the beginning?
No, not the beginning. Funny enough. At the beginning, there were no free jobs. That was the amazing part of it.
That's amazing.
Yes. At the beginning, we were very cocky. Permit the word. We were very bullish because we were too sure of what we had to offer. So there was always a price tag on what we were offering. But as we grew in the business, we found out that sometimes you stoop to conquer.
Yes.
So there was something we then coined in the office called proof of concept.
Okay.
So there are some places we do some jobs and we call it a POC. So you people call it free job, but we call it a proof of concept.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So we're showing you that we can do. So it's more like a validation drive. So there were times we've done, or there are still times we do, and most likely we will still have to do those things as a means of brand building. Sometimes it comes from the angle of CSR. So we see a project that we believe in, and we throw ourselves into it. We see a product that we know that this can change lives, but it's not. It doesn't have the wherewithal at the time to do what needs to be done, and we just throw in ourselves into them. It still happened this year. We've done 2 of them already.
Wow.
This year?
Yes.
And we're in July?
Yes. We've done 2 already, and we still have 1 more to go this year, which we've already signed off on.
Okay.
It's just that we haven't done it, but that's the 3 for the year. So, 3 major job that we're not paid for, because we believe that these brands will grow. It's not might. It will grow. And we started seeing them bud, right? So we know that sometimes it's not because the person does not believe or value your offering. They just don't have the wherewithal. And if everybody is trashed, who changes the game for them? You know, so that's the key thing we do.
I'm sure 10 years you've encountered difficult clients or customers. How did you still maintain relationship with them, or
Well,
you just?
I wouldn't say difficult
Pathways.
clients. I would say we've had challenging clients.
Okay.
People, communication is not done until both parties understand themselves.
Yeah, sure.
So there are sometimes we learn on the job, they learn on the job. And in those times, there are misunderstandings. And one of the things I've learned is you have two irons rubbing against each other. For them to be sharp, there will be chaff that have to drop off. So those are the things we picked. There are clients we've rendered services to that were very painful. That we had painful experiences, but we still do stuff with them till date. You know why?
Right.
Why?
We've separated sentiment from substance.
Okay.
Some people do what they do by virtue of the amount of information they have access to, not because they are bad people.
But what about those that are outrightly bad?
I don't believe anybody that is in business to do business is outrightly
You
bad.
know, some people, they
Now-
will even want to destroy the other business.
Now, here's
I won't do anything. I will go to social media. That's the
Now-
first thing.
now that-
I will
that-
mess up your company.
that for one is one thing that we have never encountered, and this is me just being honest. We've never encountered a person who will be outrightly, what's the word now? Devilish.
That's the right word.
We've never had such encounters where someone says, "I'm going to destroy your business. I'm going to wreck you. I'm going to make sure you don't do
I don't know
business."
why people do that.
I've heard people say that to other people, or I've heard people come tell me someone said so to them. But here's the thing: if I hear or I have a concern or a challenge of being in business with someone who proves difficult, I step back more often than not to see, what am I doing wrongly? What am I supposed to do that I am not doing? What can I do better? Did you get that?
Yeah.
What am I doing wrongly?
Doing wrong.
What am I doing that I'm not supposed to be doing? What can I do better? So sometimes we think from our own standpoint we're doing everything possible. But if you step out of your person and be a third party to view the situation, you will see that there were some things you could have done better. I was speaking to somebody yesterday and I said to him, he said, I've done so and so and so and so and so. Because I called to vent my anger or express my displeasure.
Yes.
And he said, I've done this. And I'm like, the only reason why I would forgive you is because I know that sometimes we get into the position of being so occupied with doing the job than carrying the person you're doing the job along. So I don't know you've been doing this because you've never communicated in 3 weeks. I've reached you, I've tried to do stuff. So sometimes if the person reacts that way, so when I saw him yesterday at the progress meeting, I said, this is why I reacted this way. He said, yes, I've learned from you, even though I've been running this business for 23 years.
Wow.
I've learned something from you, working first time with you, that the value of communication is 70%. 30% is the job itself. And that is where many entrepreneurs miss it. I'm just doing my job. I'm good at my job. I'm the best at my job. And then they come up with those postures, those braggadocio postures. And then sometimes you just miss it. The person then starts asking questions and you can't answer those questions. And then because you've put forward a stand that is, well, somewhat, boisterous and, boastful and proud.
Yes.
You then find it difficult to retrace your steps and correct those anomalies because you've done what you needed to have done at the wrong time.
All right. Okay, Alba said there's a saying that a good entrepreneur gets the good staff, and those are the ones that actually make him or her look good.
Yeah.
How do you get your staff? How do you recruit your staff?
Well, the initial, at the beginning, was pretty much word of mouth. So we talked to people, do you want to work with Swift Think Limited? Oh, yeah. So we checked their resume. But by the third year, we started using a recruitment agency. So we started, we had to consult a recruitment agency and we sent what we were looking out for. Now, here's what we did not do. We did not detach ourselves from that process.
All right.
While there was a recruitment agency, first stage, second stage, at the third and fourth and fifth stage, we are involved. Because we are the ones that need the staff. We are the ones that know what we're looking out for. And trust me, in the midst of all this, there are still recruitment errors, which happens to the best of organizations.
Yes.
The times you recruit a person that you believe will change the fortune of the business, and the person comes in with great docility, just sit down and is watching and surfing the net all day. But at the point of recruitment, it looked like the best decision you would have made. Right. So those were the ways we've been on. Those are the ways we've been recruiting till date. Now, as we also went ahead, we then started doing headhunting. Now, as you grow in business, you require the specialized skills. Now, not just the hard skills, but now people that have leadership capacity. And for that, you need people who have done it before in maybe smaller measures or sometimes even in bigger measures.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're growing, we need someone that is up there who can take us up. Who's been there, who's done some things, who understands leadership and some value systems and can help us grow through the path. So we also do a lot of headhunting now. So we put out notes to people and say, you work here, would you like to do this with a more compact organization with clear vision?
I like that.
So,
more compact. More compact organization.
so we don't use the word smaller,
No.
more compact.
Perfect.
So a more compact organization with a clear vision, and we know what we're doing, we know where we're going. And we've had one or two of them coming through those means. And we are always evolving as well, ensuring that we can create a better working environment for people, because that's almost what everybody's looking out for now. Beyond the pay, do I have a clear path of growth in this place? Is there a future? Is there anything these guys? Yes. If there's none, then it becomes more difficult for them to want to join you than the money you're paying.
Thank you.
Our time is fast.
Yes.
And you have a question that the way you're doing.
I'll just save it for later.
Save it till after the show. Okay. Lastly, do you have any advice that you want to give to people that entrepreneurs and they want to build their clientele? Do you have any?
My fellow entrepreneurs, we are many. I know we're many.
Yes.
Don't let today's pleasure rob you of tomorrow's glory. The time you need to build. The time you should spend under the ground, more often than not, is you can't negotiate it off.
Okay.
So lateral growth is key. So you must grow your roots so that you can then, when you grow out, the wind, the gust don't take you out. I was sharing with a few people, I said I was watching the videos from Hurricane Katrina, and I saw the houses moving off and stuff, and there was just one tree that was just bellowing left and right as the wind was blowing. And then I was wondering, how come this tree is not falling down when a whole house is falling off? And it dropped in my mind that, have you ever wondered how far the root of this tree has traveled? And that's what's happening to many businesses. A little wind, they go under, they wind down because they don't have deep roots. So entrepreneurs, grow deep roots. Be competent in what you do. Every person pays for competence. Every person pays for value. Be more value-driven than profit-driven, and watch your business soar.
Thank you very much. So grow your roots first. Grow your roots first. Lateral. Vertical is key, because that's why some people talk about the mustard seed.
Absolutely.
Mustard seed grows deep into the ground.
Before it comes up. Same with the bamboo.
Same with the bamboo. All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
We've been talking with Mr. Ayola Jalayemi of Swift Think Limited. So thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much.
This money-chasing girl. I hope you've learned so much.
I have. I've learned a lot.
I'm happy.
All right. Okay.
Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you so much. Okay, that's it for today. Join us again same time tomorrow for another interesting topic. I'm Ronke Ashiru.
And I'm Modupe Jacobs.
Bye-bye.